Hello and welcome everyone, I'm Madals. I'm here with Game 3 of a best of 3. It's from the TvZ UK Masters. It is between two powerhouse players. It is the ace match and it is very exciting, and there's no point not giving away spoilers because if it's Game 3 of 3 it's one apiece, and that means one thing and one thing only. Everything is on the line for them. So let's get straight to it. In the lower left position, spawning as the red Zerg, it is from Team Liquid, TLO. And his opponent up in the top right, the blue Terran player, representing Western Wolves and Korea, Sting. So, this is going to be a tense game. Let's just summarize what we've seen so far. Okay, game 1, TLO was all about a big roachling push off of 2 bases. It did a tremendous amount of damage, and Sting fought valiantly to come back from that. But TLO, he expanded behind, he took some good tech, lots of upgrades, had 3 Ultralisks, and of course 3 Ultras at one point, and that just means that he pushed forward. He had great fungal growth. Sting did a good job of staying in the game for as long as he did, with dropping everywhere, forcing TLO to stay back rather than pushing across. But TLO just denied expansions while taking his own and ultimately won on the macro front. So that was game 1. Game 2, that was slightly different. Sting, he went out for a lot of early aggression with some Reapers and a bunker coming down. Then TLO managed to hold that off with some losses, went for a counter push, and there was a lot of back and forthing, both players being very aggressive. But TLO then thought, you know what, I don't have the economy after that Reaper harassment, I'm going to go for a Ling Bling bust. And the Banelings, they rolled in. The tanks shelled them and knocked them out until just a few Banelings were remaining on one tank. The Banelings waddled up the ramp. They tried to take down the supply depots, but it was not effective. And therefore TLO thought GG, and GG'd out. And that is how we got here into Game 3. And yet again, it looks like Sting is going to be going for, well, actually not a, really, he's going for a Reaper. I was going to say it's not a Reaper because he didn't start one and he had enough gas, and then I was like, well, maybe it will be a Reaper, because, well, he's going to have a Reaper. So yes, Reaper coming across Star Station, a great map to do it on. It is forced cross spawns. It's the TvZ UK version of Star Station, and it does tell you at the start, actually. I don't know if anyone saw in the chat, it says force cross spawns, which is like, yay, that's very helpful. But yes, as I said, Reaper's great because, like Cloud Kingdom, a huge amount of cliff area around your main base that can be exploited and really used effectively to try your absolute hardest to deny. But unfortunately, Sting did not see the cross spawn only notification at the start, so is going to come and scout up to the top left just in case. But yes, as we see, TLO with his natural base down now, he's got his spawning pool out, getting 2 queens, currently has a grand total of 0 Zerglings. And do you know how good 0 Zerglings are against Reapers? Not at all. Zerglings always win that. A bunker coming down, and this should be a bit of a panic for TLO, and he straight away starts a couple of Zerglings. He doesn't want this bunker to complete because it's always very stressful. Good little micro move there by getting down the extractor on the damaged drones, but this third drone is like, I better build something, so he makes a spore crawler. This final drone, what's he going to make? Another spore crawler. So TLO just like, oh well, all of my drones will become buildings when they're about to die. Finally, is Sting going to get one? Yes, he does manage it. The Zerglings are out. The drones are allowing a nice little run through though, and the bunker finishes just in time, and the Reaper does get into it. That Reaper must be on incredibly low health now. The SCV was taken out, so ultimately a couple of shots can come down here, but it won't do too much. Meanwhile, we've got another Reaper coming up into the main base, going to try and get a few more kills. The Zerglings have come back. Both queens though down, trying to take out this bunker at the moment, and ultimately good little surround coming down there with the drones and Zerglings. So the second Reaper is cleaned out. Now here comes down the salvage. Ultimately, Sting does not want to lose. That combat truck still work while in a bunker. So that is fairly potent, one might say. And yes, ultimately now this is just going to be a case of the Reaper in an epic micro battle against the drones and Zerglings, just really taking up some of TLO's APM. Behind this, the natural base nearly complete for Sting. He's got the factory. Again, nearly complete, going to switch that over. May go Widow Mines, may go for Hellions, he likes both. TLO just positioning this drone up here. What are you doing, TLO? Are you going to take a very early third? I think you may be about to, which is good news, because if you know your opponent has got his natural down, you might as well take a third, because you want to be a base up. This is now a very good economical position for TLO. As long as he doesn't take much damage from these Hellions that are coming out, he should be fine. We've got a starport also on its way, and a tech lab. So is this going to be, with a third command center, is this going to be reactor Hellions into a cloak or a Banshee play? Because I haven't seen that in Heart of the Swarm yet. Like, genuinely, I haven't. It seems to have fallen so far out of fashion. It's basically uncool. But yeah, here goes the switch. It's gonna be, oh, Sting, you're you're making me nostalgic. I remember these builds. These were the good old times when every single Terran player opened one Rax command center into a reactor, Hellion into Banshee, and it happened without doubt every time. But a small supply block here, Sting. This is not what you needed. You did not want a supply block right now. That really diminishes how effective this push will be by quite a considerable amount of time. The Reaper still trying to do some damage, just being like, I can do it, I can still achieve something, I've got 7 kills, I can do more for the team. And of course that's why everyone loves Reapers, because they are real team players. They don't deal much damage, just a measly 4 damage a hit, 2 hits per attack. So they have taken a bit of a punch in terms of their damage output, but still, they try their best, so that's all we can ask for out of the Reaper. Now, yes, Banshee coming down, we've also got the Hellions pushing forward with the aid of the Reaper, with his buddies. Now they're both the same speed, which is just crazy. Jetpacks are the way forward. As you can see, anyone from Ford, Toyota, BMW, Mercedes, whatever you want, just notice that. Jetpacks went as fast as wheels. Get developing, that's all I'm going to say. So, yeah, now we've got, obviously, more Spore Crawlers coming down. Just ready to try and deal with what could be Cloak Banshees coming up behind it, although it's much more likely just due to trying to keep some Zerglings alive. But the Spore Crawlers all finishing up, 1 at each base now, so TLO desperately trying to make sure he's got a good advantage here. The first Banshee is making its way across the map. We've also got a good amount of Zerglings coming around the side. What are you doing, Zerglings? Are you going to go for a counter-attack? I hope you do, because that would be absolutely amazing, especially with speed about, well, a good 25 seconds away from completion. Sting definitely now going mech. If the 3 factories weren't enough of a giveaway, the double armory should be. The Banshee now in with these Hellions. And I'm sitting there being like, hey, I know what we'll do. Let's clean out some creep, because creep is irritating. We don't want TLO getting that faster move speed or the vision, especially when we're going mech. We don't want him to move any faster, because mech's slow. And of course, anything Zerg related on creep is fast. But now in come these Zerglings, they see the double armory. That is pretty much the best scout you can hope for as TLO in this situation. Runs in with the rest of the Lings, gonna try and get a couple of shots off onto these Hellions, but 1 Hellion will go down, a 2nd Hellion will go down. That's really nice to see. The Banshee not doing too much damage. Meanwhile, Zerglings are pushing back on the rest of these as well. So all of the Hellions pretty much now being taken out. A few more have just popped, but no sign of Blue Flame. The 1-1 upgrades are coming down for mech now. That's good news. TLO also getting the 1-1 upgrades for ranged missiles. So, because you don't get melee missiles, that was an important thing I noted there. It wasn't a stumble of my words, because of course melee missiles, also known as mutual destruction missiles, are pretty fun, and lots of units have those. Yes. Definitely, they're just top secret and never ever used. So, Thor's on the way as well. No sign of Blue Flame or Drilling Claws or Transformation Servos, so we're not going to be seeing much in terms of Hellion play. But TLO, oh, he's doing the Nidus network. TLO, if you weren't already a fan favorite, you have to do awesome things like make Niduses. So let me know in the comment section below. Has your appreciation of TLO just increased because he's made a Nidus network? It's like, literally, battle cruisers, Nidus networks, and I think, would you still class carriers in there because Skytoss is so good? I'd say yeah, carriers is probably still up there as being like fan favourites. If you make those, you're definitely awesome. But the Nidus is now done. We've got more roaches coming out. TLO desperate to get us around on these Hellions. Does manage to capture a few and now gets the complete surround and will be able to pick them all off. Good news, TLO, because you have now dealt with that harassment potential. The Banshees are still being quite frustrating. The Nidus network is doing essentially nothing at the moment. It's just chilling there. Nidus networks look like they're in constant pain, to be honest. Like, everything about a Nidus network looks painful. Not just for you, but for everything else. And Hellions have managed to make it into the main base as I'm busy discussing the torment of Niduses. But, yeah, this is only getting a couple of drone kills. Not that many. In total, 8 workers have been killed this game by Sting. Not really as many as he'd want. TLO, even though he's got a Nidus, is apparently just deciding to run all of his units across there. But now realizes, oh yeah, I've got a Nidus. I remember making that. Let's just pawn this right outside his natural. A couple of Banshee are coming over there and being like, oh, this ground shouldn't be shaking around like that. This was not as intended. Does pop just to die. That's quite frustrating. You do not want that happening to Nidus. The poor Nidus network. Tanks in nice positions. One up on the high ground, one on the low ground. Just making sure that he covers everything. And, well, TLO. At first you Nidus, and now you're dropping. Literally, you are possibly the perfect Zerg player for spectators. Everything about what you do is amazing. So, yes, in come the Banshees. They suddenly spot these Overlords and are thinking, Overlords. They don't usually come in packs unless there's drops coming down. Vikings desperately going to start taking them out, shooting The Overlord containing nothing though. First Roaches just powering on forwards, being like, hey, I'm a Roach. Just going to go everywhere I can. Another Nidus network is going to pop out, but here come the units. They're coming straight up towards the main base. More drops coming around everywhere. The tank's just not quite sure what to do. We've got a stream of Zerglings coming in towards the third. TLO looking to potentially do a lot of damage here. Just needs to unload units. That would be the real key thing to do here. Generating some creep down at the natural. Meanwhile, in the main, the Overlord still can't quite work out. Maybe here, no, not over there, bit to the left. It's like he's playing SimCity. Can't decide where he wants to place that building. But yes, Thor's getting taken out. The Roaches doing some good damage. Want to get a couple more SCVs ideally. The tanks unseated so they start killing all their own stuff. Things are looking rather dire for Sting at the moment. There's a lot of Zerg here. And that is, you don't want Zerg infestations, but it is getting cleaned out really quite effectively, even though a lot of mining time has been wasted, and it looks like these mineral lines are rather run wild. It's just because all the SCVs have been pulled to repair everything, and all in all, Sting isn't that far behind. If we take a look at the legendary worker count, we can see that Sting is actually ahead at 61 to 53 workers, and he's also got these magical flying things, which can shoot at ground units, and TLO hasn't quite worked out how to make something that shoots up other than a queen yet. So that in itself is quite problematic, but with so many queens, that's a lot of transfuses, and the magical flying things, otherwise known as banshees, will pull back, because you just don't want to go into a row of queens, because they'll transfuse all day. It'll be like in the campaign with auto transfuse, except of course TLO does it manually just because he is a boss. Now, as we can see, this is, I keep saying now, as we can see, what is up with that? Fun times. But yes, we do have the Spire nearly complete. We've got the 1-2 upgrades coming down for melee and of course Carapace, but Sting is rapidly approaching that 170 mark where things get pretty scary. A Zergling drop into the main base, generating some creep as well, because TLO clearly likes creep. It's like, you know what, I'm going to spread it everywhere. A Hellbat is going to go down to Zergling, something that until recently was only folklore and myth, but apparently it can go down. We see now one Zergling bravely moving forward. Sting's SCVs though, they've got giant drills. It's like the April Fool's Day joke when they were, of course, Warhounds. That's how effective they were just then at taking up the units. The Queens are harassing the mineral lines. And this is where, as a caster, I feel I should never cast another game, because I don't think I will get the opportunity to say that ever again. The Queens, those Queens harassing the mineral line. Now the Queen drop going down into the main base. Oh, TLO. You make my work so fun. But yes, the Overlords are now spreading more creep. The siege tank was taken out. The Queen's still running forward, making sure they deal with all of this. Vision being granted, the tanks with low ground, dealing the damages everywhere. We do have creep spread coming down in the mineral line. Clearly not doing very much, but it just looks cool. It looks like it should be irritating. And if it looks bad, then it probably is bad. At least that's what the doctor tells people. But yes, ultimately now this just means that, well, TLO, he's just keeping on pushing. Thors are having none of this Muta malarkey, nor are the Vikings. The Banshee goes down by that ninja little Mutalist just running and taking it out very, very quickly. The Viking also going down as well, but another Viking coming to join the party. The Thors, where are you, Thors? Come help. Thors, come over here. Give the Vikings a hand, Thors. Be a team player, after all. More Mutalists coming down. Hive coming down. Pathogen glands coming down. So this is all piecing together. Creep still being spread. Like, look at this poor refinery. Such an infestation there. Absolutely terrible. The last refinery, or no, one of the 6 refineries is now taken out. That's going to delay a bit of gas income. TLO just expanding everywhere because that's what TLO likes to do. He also needs to drone a bit more though, because he's only at 72. And as TLO goes, he tends to get a lot more than that. It's not uncommon to see like 90 drones out of TLO, but instead he's just cutting it short. And oh my goodness, a Nidus on fire! That was so awesome. I haven't seen that yet either. So this game is really coming together as TLO just doing everything to make me overexcitable. He's gone for a Queen harassment in the mineral line. Queen drops, Nidus play, Sting set a Nidus on fire. What more could you ask for out of a game? Literally, this is spectacular. If Sting makes battle cruisers, I may put this game and this game alone in a playlist of best games ever, and it will just contain this one, just for all of the awesomeness that was contained. The Mutas are still trying to pick up some reinforcements, but Sting is like, oh, okay, I guess I better bring back all of my units to deal with this, because, you know, that's what you do, like. Great Aspire also coming down as well for TLO behind. He's just making sure that he can deal with, well, late game very effectively. Broodlord's great against mech, because even with high impact payload, the single target damage from Thors, they're still not that great. And TLO ultimately knows that the Viking count currently consists of one lone Viking, which is only good for landing in front of an Ultralisk. That is the only thing a single Viking is good for. And also hunting Overlords, which is not even doing that. There's an Overlord Viking! Viking, what are you doing? You can't see it, but there's an Overlord just there. Kill it. Kill it, Viking. That's what you want to do. The Roach is desperately trying to get a couple more kills on SCV. He's doing it quite effectively, to be fair. And then reinforcements came along, and we're just like, herped up. You thought your single Hellbat was good? Try against this. Sting, though, he's not pulling back his army this time. He's just going to go for it. He's like, do you know what? I can kill him. That's what my approach will be. If he dies, everything will be fine. The Broodlords coming out, though, they're going to really try and stop that. Sting getting distracted by this shiny, juicy-looking hatchery there. Good fungal growths, and the fungal growths aren't actually doing much damage, but they are delaying. They're trying to buy some time for these magical Broodlords to do some damage. The Broodlords are going to be very important here. More fungal growths are starting to hit. High impact payload has not been activated. That would be so beneficial in this situation against the Thors, because against the Broodlords, because Broodlords are not like units and therefore do not take bonus damage. And well, as we can see, SCV is just repairing. A never-ending battle between Broodlings and a Thor is occurring. Meanwhile, the mech army is still pushing forward. The drop at the back is getting cleaned out, so Sting is actually fine behind this. He's not losing anything while he's pushing forward. Tanks are in your main TLO. That is usually a bad sign of things to come in the future. A lot of SCVs getting taken down. The supply is exactly equal, but Hellbats are attacking the hive. That is never fun. The Broodlords are starting to show down and everything. Are we going to see things get leveled out again? Because that would be absolutely ridiculous. If it was the 90s, I would say it was ridiculous, but I think that went out of fashion by the time I was about 6, so I'm not going to be using that word, even though I may have done in the past, and I did just then. But yes, let's recap. So, we saw TLO push in, deal some good damage, deal more damage, keep pushing, keep dealing damage, attack with some queens. Sting was like, no, pushed him back, then decided to move across, but TLO was like, counter-attack! Sting moved back, then Sting pushed forward, TLO counter-attack, but Sting thought, no, I'm going to come and kill you, cleaned up with reinforcements, and then did some good damage. In total, Sting managed to kill 19 workers, but TLO's actually killed 82 SCVs. That is crazy. TLO, you did not like SCVs. What did they ever do to you? What did they ever do to you, TLO? That was just nasty, killing that many. TLO, though, of course, getting down to Nidus Network. Now, I love this new animation on the minimap, just like, hey, look at this. This is exciting, caster. It's completely, that is completely the purpose of it. It's just screaming to casters. It's the same for nukes. Brilliant. Broodlords are getting taken out. Obviously, the Thors are now in high impact payload mode, and we do have some fungal growth coming down. The Corruptors trying to pick off the Vikings. The Broodlords starting to rain down the pain. Sting's supply is now lower. He's also not got a good economy behind this. He's only really mining off 1.5 bases. His main to mine down. His natural is certain to be very low, but still the Broodlords push forward. Sting down to just 100 supply. This is not looking good for him. Meanwhile, TLO happily mining at the rest of his bases, but the action is still occurring. He's pushing forward. He's trying to do as much damage as he can. He doesn't want to overcommit though, because he knows he's got Sting against the rope. Sting's natural is very low. Very, very, very low, and that means that he's got to be incredibly careful. Every unit is so important. Every mineral, every Thespian gas is going to be critical, but I think TLO is going to be able to take this series. Now the Broodlord's just right on top. The infested Terrans getting spawned down, and this should spell the end. It should spell disaster. It should spell the win for Team Liquid and TLO in very impressive fashion, and it looks like Sting is going to be forced to GG. We've got, well, we have just got no units out for Sting now. His army supply is near depleted. He's got just under 40, and ultimately, with so many Broodlords out here, with the Queens picking off the Vikings, this looks like TLO is looking very, very comfortable at the moment. He's coming in with yet more Broodlords. What he really needs is this Nidus network to send over the reinforcements. That would be awesome. But yes, the Queen's picking away on orbital command, because that's what Queens do. No sign of counterattacks coming in. Sting, though, desperate to win every game he can. Not going to GG out too prematurely. Gonna wait until he really feels he's got no hope. He's banking up a couple more units. He's like, maybe this will work. Maybe. If I get just a couple more Thors, a couple more Vikings, I can break this. I don't believe that Sting actually knows about this base. No, he doesn't. So, as far as he knows, there's only 3 bases out for TLO. And that just means that he thinks he's got a chance. He maybe could perhaps, if he can kill this army, come back. But unfortunately for Sting, there's too much coming on. TLO getting another Nidus, because Nidus is everywhere. It's just how TLO rolls. The 4th base has been secured. Some mules are mining, but the supply now half that of the Zerg player, which is never ever a good sign. TLO with a massive bank as well. So much gas in the bank. Needs just a bit more minerals now, and then he can morph whatever he wants, to be honest. He's got more Zerglings pushing forward. This is looking quite inevitable now. somewhat like fate in the universe that ultimately TLO is going to take this battle. He's coming forward now. The Zerglings are going for the surround on the Thors. There goes down a Fungal Boy, presenting the retreat. The Broodlords are doing some nice damage. The Corruptors just playing with the Vikings, not even wanting to engage them. The Broodlords are going to take out the Thors. No SCVs to repair. Sting now down to very shortly under 60 supply, just 55 supply remaining, and this is, well, not looking to be too much of a good spot. There goes down the scan, and I think, I'm surprised when Sting saw that he didn't GG out. He's desperate to make this work. It is in the group stage, but he still wants it to be a win because, well, he's going to battle on till the very, very end. But there goes the GG. TLO takes the series 2-1. Very, very stylish TLO in Game 3 as well, with those Niduses and everything else. So if you like that, make sure you like the video, leave a cool comment, and of course subscribe, because I get new top-level games up every day of the week. And yeah, 365 days a year. It's a lot of work, but I do it because I love it, and I hope you do too. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Madals. I'll catch you all tomorrow for yet another new cast. Bye for now.